Max Verstappen is one of the brightest talents in the sport. With his driving style and his aggressive moves, he has divided the media regarding the likings of his aggressive overtakes and swearing on the radio. But off the track, Verstappen has a lot of interesting things going on, and he's a guy that doesn't like to boast about his life outside of the professional borders. Stick with us until the end of this video to find out the 10 most interesting facts about Verstappen that you probably didn't know about. Number 10. He was competing in F1 before he got a driving license. Verstappen made his F1 debut at the Australian GP in 2015 when he was just 17 years and 166 days, and it was quite logical that he didn't have a driver's license back at that time. It was illegal to drive in Belgium when he first signed for Toro Rosso, now known as AlphaTauri, but he received his license on his 18th birthday. Therefore, he could flex with the fact that he drove an F1 car before receiving a license for a regular, everyday car. This move was so impactful that the FIA had to introduce a rule called the Verstappen rule, in which the age limit for a driver to make its debut was raised to 18 in response to Verstappen's actions. Number 9. Verstappen owns a private jet. Verstappen can easily afford a private jet, and that's proven by the fact that he's the second highest paid Formula 1 driver with an annual salary of $25 million. Verstappen is the owner of the Dassault Falcon 900EX, which is a private jet that he bought from Richard Branson, a British billionaire businessman. How much does the jet cost? Well, it's said that it cost Verstappen somewhere between $15 and $16 million, as the maintenance of it costs around $1 million annually. But with this baby, Verstappen doesn't have to fly regular airlines when he needs to visit 2 continents in the span of 1 to 2 weeks. Number 8. Verstappen skipped Formula 2. Verstappen went straight to F1 after his successful year in Formula 3 in 2015. However, Verstappen didn't enter Formula 2, and he followed the steps of Vettel, Sainz Jr., Ricciardo and Bottas on this path. Asked if he regrets not going to F2, Verstappen said, "I've always made quite big steps in my life in terms of racing series or even go-karting. In terms of speed, I didn't need to do a year in GP2 or whatever. It's just the experience you miss a little bit." Number 7. Verstappen was born in Belgium but races under a Dutch license. Although his father is from Belgium and Verstappen was born there in the city of Hasselt, he races under the Dutch flag. He was also raised in a Belgian town known as Maaseik, which is really close to the Dutch border, and he travelled with a Belgian passport too. The reason why Verstappen chose to race under a Dutch flag is that he felt more Dutch than Belgian. One of the factors for this decision is that he spent more time with his father due to his karting activities. "I've lived in Belgium, but I feel more Dutch. Because of all the karting, I spent more time with my father than with my mother," said Max in an interview in 2014. "I only stayed in Belgium at night because I traveled to the Netherlands during the day to see my friends. That is how I feel, since I was raised as a Dutch person, and that's how I feel," added Max to his interview. Number 6. Max loves video games. Like all other boys, Verstappen is a fan of video games. He has chosen to pass time on multiple occasions during F1 racing weekends by playing FIFA or Call of Duty on his PlayStation. And it seems like Max is one of the best FIFA players in the world. According to FootWiz, Verstappen has been 21st in the world in Ultimate Team Game mode in January 2019. At the US GP in 2021, Horner said some interesting stuff about Verstappen and his passion for gaming. "There's probably quite a lot that you don't know about Max. He's probably done about 14 hours of FIFA football this weekend while he's been here," Horner added. Number 5. The reason why he changed his number from 33 to 1. Verstappen is racing with the number 1 on his car as of now, but used the number 33 throughout his career up until 2022. He later revealed that he wishes to defend his maiden F1 title with the number 1 as it's the best number available for him. Number 1 is the best number out there, so for me, it was very straightforward to pick the number 1, and hopefully number 33 doesn't come back next year, said Verstappen. Number 4. Max has broken many youngest drivers' records. Verstappen went on to win the 2016 Spanish GP, becoming the youngest driver to win a race at the time at his debut for Red Bull. He surpassed Sebastian Vettel, who held the record up until then. He's also the youngest driver to score a point in F1 after finishing 7th in the 2015 Malaysian GP in Toro Rosso. Some other records that Verstappen has crushed are being the youngest driver to lead a lap and the youngest driver to have the fastest lap in F1 history. Max was full of potential when he entered the league, but breaking these records and challenging a 7-time world champion weren't something that you would expect to come just like that. Therefore, it's safe to say that Max has so far lived up to the expectations and much more is yet to come. Number 3. He owns cars from rivals. It's normal for F1 drivers to have various luxury cars in their garage, but when it comes to speed, they don't see barriers set by their professional careers. Verstappen isn't an exception to this rule, as he has multiple cars in his garage. One of his favorite cars has to be the Aston Martin, as he's been seen with various car editions of this manufacturer. Some of them are Aston Martin DBS and Aston Martin Valkyrie, which was the joint project of Aston Martin and Red Bull and Aston Martin Vantage. Some Ferraris can be seen in his collection, such as the Ferrari 488 and Ferrari Monza SP2. Number 2. Verstappen comes from a family of racers. Everybody knows that his father, Jos Verstappen, is a famous racer, and that isn't a surprise to the audience. At the end of the day, he's the most responsible one for where Verstappen came with his career. But what many people don't know is that his mother also used to race in her career, professionally too. Sophie Kumpen, the name of his mother, was also a go-karter, winning the Formula A karting championship in 1995. His mother competed against a number of drivers back then, who then turned out to be professional F1 drivers. Some of them are Jenson Button, who also won the championship in 2009, Giancarlo Fisichella, Nick Heidfeld, and Jarno Trulli. Apart from his mother and his father, who by the way had nowhere near the career Max is currently having, his uncle Anthony Kumpen is also a two-time NASCAR Wellen Euro Series champion and jointly held the record for most 24 hours of Zolder wins, having 6 of them in total. Even his father, Jos Verstappen, admitted that Max was said to be a racer from the earliest stages of his life, as he said that Max drove a kart when he was 4.5 years old. Max was 4.5 when I first stuck him in a go-kart. It wasn't that nerve-wracking, as when he was 2, he was driving a quad bike, so he had experience with speed and how to steer. He'd done quite a lot of things before I put him in a go-kart, said Jos. So, genes do play a huge role in your life, as Verstappen was competing with 11-year-old drivers at the age of 7. Despite the age difference, Verstappen was able to dominate these categories, winning the first race at the age of 7. Just at the age of 9, he was able to become a champion in Belgium and Netherlands, and it was already known that he'll pursue a racing career in his life. Number 1. He dates Kelly Piquet, daughter of Nelson Piquet. It's known that Max and Kelly have been together for quite some time now, more precisely from the end of 2020. Max had a girlfriend prior to Piquet, and it was Dilara Seinik, who comes from Germany. What's more interesting is the fact that Kelly has dated Daniil Kvyat, who was replaced by Max Verstappen in 2016 when he struggled to deliver for Red Bull. The Russian driver and the Brazilian model have a 3-year-old kid named Penelope. Which of the 10 things about Max did you find most interesting about? Let us know in the comments below. Check out the next video here. Take care and drive safely.